because we usually say that whoever it becomes a leader, whoever becomes, say, the governor or the president becomes the leader of that political party in his state or her state, and also at the federal level as well. That's what obtains. It shouldn't be so. Is that what you're saying?
It shouldn't be so in a democracy. And this is why I'm saying that we don't run a democratic system of government. What has the president got to do with political machinations after he assumes the presidency, with all the enormous work ahead of him? Why should he be participating on who should be the chairman or not?
Any leader, that would be the ideal. But looking at our context, can any leader really say that I'm just facing my work, whatever happens in my political party happens, especially when it could happen that person still has an ambition to possibly go for a second term?
Well, let me be honest with you. If we continue to look at politics as part of executive functions, the more we will be derailing. When Nigerians will realize that once they are elected into a post, political considerations no longer play a role. It is your accountability to the public. But there is no accountability in Nigeria. Once you are elected, you feel you are on top of the world. You disregard your constituency. You work for your own interest. You work for your party's interest. That is not democracy.
Now you say you see danger, in the first 6 months of 2014. Why? What exactly, makes this danger loom large for you in the first 6 months?
Okay, let me put it this way. Virtually about 1/3 of the existing governors are not coming back again for a second term. So those states are going to see a rivalry as to who is going to replace that governor. In the states where there are governors who are going for the second term, as I said, there being no democratic institutions, they are going to bulldoze their nomination. They will get it. It has never happened where a sitting governor could not get, except 1 or 2 occasions, or a sitting president will not get nomination. Now the danger is this. If you look at politicians' attitude, that is a do or die battle. And we've started seeing signs. The danger is that there will be bloodshed, there will be schisms, there will be tribal, many things will now come to play just because a particular post is vacant for grabs. That is,
and you see that playing right across the at least 1/3 of states in Nigeria, and that definitely.
It's
not looking
in
good.
Akwa Ibom today, the governor is going. In Delta State today, the governor is going. In many other states, the governor is going.
Yeah, Rivers too.
This is where what is even happening in Rivers State today, if you don't know, is who is to take over from Amechi.
It's not about the people.
It's not about the people.
Politics and
it's
themselves.
not about the people. Amechi has his own idea who takes over from him. Wike, or whatever his name is, has an idea of who should take over. Mr. President, don't let us hide that, has an interest also, because River State is his backyard. He cannot afford to have an opposition in his backyard, Bayelsa State.
Well, those are all parties within the PDP. What about the APC? We saw the formation of the APC last year. What do you project happening in that party in the next 6 months as well?
Well, the woman says birds of the same plumage, they flock together. But unfortunately, today, APC cannot be said to be birds of the same plumage.
Why?
In Nigerian politics, there is no ideological, training or anything. It's who is the leader of a tribal group. He stands up, the head of the Yoruba says, oh, I am going to go to this party. Every Yoruba man goes. The Igbo man stands up, oh, I am going into this party. His kin and clans, they all follow him. Now the problem that I foresee is this. Nigeria is going to pass through a phase within the next 6 months that will determine whether we move forward as a nation or not. Not that we are going to be split. What makes Nigeria strong today is the diversion. And give us kudos, there is no country in the world, even Great Britain today, has its ethnic, nuisances. The Scottish man does not like the Englishman. Let me tell you that. The Irishman hates the Englishman. The Welsh tolerates the Englishman. But they stay together in what they call Great Britain.
So why are we not able to manage ours?
That's what you see. There is no single nation in the world where you have one single unit of people. The Balkans fought wars for almost 200 years. They've been balkanized, let me put it, Siberia, Croatia, they have now split. But 200 years ago, 100 years ago, they were trying to, be one, and they were fighting wars. I remember during the Siberian War, the CNN was asking, this is about 20 years ago, an old Siberian woman, what is even the problem here? She said, so you don't know, we are Christians, they are Muslims. So if this can happen in Europe, you know what we are talking about here.
Because at least we've seen that to a larger extent your point has been, should I say, emphasized in southern Sudan and what exactly is happening in that part of the world. Initially we thought with the formation of that new country they would see the desired peace, and now we're getting to see that peace is far from getting to the people of that region. In Nigeria, we're talking about the national dialogue, which Mark also raised. We're likely to see that come into being maybe this year. Will that help us solve some of these problems? Because looking at your analysis of issues now, looking at the political landscape, looking at political happenings, spiced with what you've just highlighted on our diversity, do you think that will help us in the year 2014?
It will help us, because one good thing about Nigeria, out of the three major tribes, the Yorubas, the Igbos, and the Hausas, not one of them can go and cause confusion in Nigeria in isolation. If the Igbo man decides to cause confusion and he hasn't got the backing of the Hausa and the Yorubas, they go nowhere. So that alone for us is a good foundation we have, that before this country can split into two, at least two of the three major tribes must come together. When the Igbos fought the Biafran War, they could not succeed because the Yorubas and the Hausa Fulani, came together to keep Nigeria one. If the Yorubas tomorrow want to have an Oduduwa state, the Igbos, who have so much economical, how will I call it, in the south or southwest, will not want to see many of their palatial buildings in Banana and all those places. So Nigeria gains from this diversity.
Do we know that?
Well, we need to stress it to people.
But our politicians say the opposite to the electorate.
No,
they keep twisting it.
They are using it for their own, egos. As I said, I'm sorry to say, the problem of Nigeria today are the politicians. That is our problem, because of power greed. That is just the ego.
What